We are live. Tell me about the week, man. Let's recap. As everybody gets in here, let's recap the week. If you are on audio, make sure that you join us live each and every week. By the way, Caleb, last Monday.
Yes.
Well, yeah, last live Monday. We will be going live from here on out on Sundays. We will make sure we get that out to you on all socials and YouTube. So make sure you're following us on YouTube. Beware Bulldogs, hit the subscribe, notification bell. You'll know when we go live. On X, Beware_Bulldogs. On Instagram, Beware Bulldogs Podcast. Caleb, tell me, how was the week as everybody gets in here?
Last week was good. We're getting inching closer to football season. You and I both got to attend the Bulldog Foundation kickoff dinner, which was a lot of fun. I got to catch up with a couple guys that we've talked to in the past, and then meet a bunch of new players. So it was a good time. And yeah, we have maybe some highlights we can share from that if you want. Yeah,
we'll get into it in a sec. How's Nolan? He's doing good.
He's good. He's got 2 teeth now, so that happened fast. Fast and slow at the same time, because he's basically had like a constant low-grade fever, which I guess is part of the teething. But yeah, he's got 2 teeth. He's super happy, and yeah, now he's starting to eat some purees. So we are moving along here with his development, which is crazy. But I'm hoping he'll sit through some football with me this year. So far.
No shot.
He does not like to sit with me on the couch, so I don't have high hopes for that. But maybe in a couple of years, he'll appreciate it.
Spencer, what's up? Moto Matt, T-minus 12 days. What's going on, Matt? Good to have you guys here. If you're in the chat, let us know where you're tuning in from. We always like to see where people tune in from. I actually checked. I hardly ever check, Caleb. I don't think I checked once last year where our numbers exactly are and who is tuning in. But I checked last week. Mm-hmm. We had people tuning in from 41 countries around the world. Fresno State Bulldogs are global.
That's right. That is awesome. What any countries stick out to you? Like that you remember?
Well, the United States was 1. Yeah. UK was 2. There was Spain.
Croatia. Any of your family tuning in from Croatia?
My family doesn't support me. There. I think it was Spain, France, and I think there was some in Mexico.
All right.
I'm pretty sure those were the top 5. I remember there was Asian. I think there's some people in Japan listening. It was fun, man. It was cool looking through it. I'll have to look at it again and write them down. So I'm gonna have the order. I should do like a top 10 countries. But the number 1 place in the entire world is Fresno, California. Big surprise.
It should be, as it should be.
Past week, you guys had me to the BDF kickoff dinner. It was awesome. We'll talk about that in a sec. My son turned 2 over the weekend, so we had a family get together at my grandparents' place. By the way, update for everyone that tuned in last week: my dad has been discharged from the hospital. He's doing well. He's on a diet. He feels much better, so that's good. At the 2-year-old birthday party, this is what came up, Kill. I think you'll get a kick out of this. When was the last time you bought a piñata or been at a party with a piñata?
I don't know. At least 15 years ago.
Okay.
It has been a while.
So 2 years old, like trying to get my kid athletic, get his hand-eye coordination going. Mm-hmm. Bought him a plastic bat, piñata. Let's go to town. The cousins are coming over. Do you know how they make piñatas now? They make them with strings that you pull. There's like 20 different strings. You pick one, you pull it, and if it opens up, you get some candy. That kid gets the candy.
Oh.
It's
built in a way that the bat can't destroy it? Or you really have to get into it?
Oh, No, it was with our plastic bat. We could not bust it open. So my 2-year-old had a couple swings. Then I think we had like a 5-year-old and 2 9-year-olds just go to town on it. No one could break it open. So then myself, my 2 brothers, and my brother-in-law, which we all play sports. We know how to swing a bat. We've all played baseball. It took us about a dozen whacks. Like no one's messing with it. Big step into it. Dude. Okay, but that's besides the point. My main point is that they are making these kids soft. Like everyone, you guys think that like Caleb and I, our generation is soft. I know us millennials. But I'm worried about the next generation because of these piñatas, man.
We need to instill some resiliency in our children.
Thank you. They also will not be developing hand-eye coordination because he will not be swinging a bat. They will not learn how to share. They're also not going to learn how to bang in the paint when the candy falls out and go attack that candy. And also quick reactions, right? You see it like Reese's or Starburst. What do you want? Or Kit Kat or Snickers. What do you want? You got to be quick. You got to grab it. They're not getting that. It was awful. But we did not do even with the kids, we did not do the pulling of the string. We had them go to town. So
good.
I just want to warn everyone out there. The piñata industry is making our kids soft, and we need to change that. Okay. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to cue the music, and we're going to get going. Hello, Red Wave. Welcome to Beware of Bulldogs podcast. We're your hosts, Caleb Nail. That's Caleb Plutz. We keep it easy for everybody here. Caleb and Caleb, both with a C. And we talk Fresno State sports. And in particular, for the rest of 2024, we'll be talking college football. Caleb, I can't tell you how excited I am. What really got me going is the kickoff dinner that I mentioned earlier. That was the turning point. It seems like college football sneaks up on you. You got to have something, because I did not go to the kickoff dinner last year, but you got to have something kind of says, okay, it's time. College football is here. The kickoff dinner was it for me this year, and I've been plugged in ever since. I've been excited about it, but now I'm all in. It's great. So I see Matt's here. Spencer's here. Sam Droid is here. Andrew's here. What's going on, everybody? We have predictions today. We're going to talk about predictions throughout the schedule. We have our hot takes for today. And then we're also going to talk about quarterbacks, because a couple teams named starters today that we were interested in. Mountain West teams, I should say, named starters today. So we'll talk about that. And a couple days ago, they named starters. So I'll put it this way, it got Power 4 media attention. Mm-hmm. Put it that way. Sam Droid's coming out of the gate with predictions. Let us know your predictions in the chat. Go on YouTube. We are live now. After today, we're going live on Sundays. Okay, because we're getting out the recaps right away. The recaps will be live Sundays after we sleep on the game, because if we did initial reactions after a bad loss, none of you would listen. We would scare everyone away. So we sleep on it, pray about it, then do it. So Sundays, we will be doing live recaps from here on out. And so next Sunday, we don't have a game, but it's the start of college football. So we'll talk college football, and we'll have expectations. We're going to have a preview for the Michigan game, and then we also are going to have a guest that covers Michigan come on, and that one is locked and loaded. We have our guests ready to go. I'm excited about it. But after today, Sundays, we will be live. But Sam Droid is coming out of the gate here with a prediction. Boise versus Fresno State in Valley Children's Stadium for Mountain West Championship. I'm all for it. I would love that. I don't think we've had a Boise State Fresno State Mountain West Championship matchup in Fresno ever. We need
No,
that.
I think that the only one we've hosted was Utah State. So that would be a nice change to actually get to play them at home.
Andrew Wren, if there's any speaking English where the piñata is purchased, I feel that's the wrong store. Yes. If you just tuned in, you're going to have to go back and listen to my piñata rant. You could tell who actually pays attention to Mountain West football by their reactions, talking about the P4 media reactions and the quarterback announcements. Yeah, we'll get there. Okay, well, I want to get your reaction to the kickoff dinner that we were blessed to attend. I was fortunate enough to ride along with the Pletzes, so thank you. I can't thank you enough for that. I mean, it was a great time. But give me some takeaways that you had from the kickoff dinner.
Biggest takeaway has to be Coach Skipper, and very energetic, and could captivate the crowd, and just the player reaction to him too. Yes. I mean, when he took the stage, all the players were sitting at the back of the room. They were all standing and they were cheering and waving their hands, like they were fired up for Coach Skip. So, I mean, I take that as a really strong sign that, okay, like this team is bought in, and they really want to go to battle for this guy, which I think is a huge part of, I mean, any team or any sport is, having the players bought into whoever their leader is. So that was the biggest takeaway. And it was fun to see the players interact with, each other and their position, like coaches, and kind of see them outside of a football environment. So that was kind of fun. I know that, I mean, the most animated, I think, was Coach Franklin in the D line. I mean, he was riling his guys up, and they were calling each other names and stuff. So it was fun. You could tell that that's a very lively position group.
I agree. The loudest it got in there was when Skip took the stand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they love him, and I'm excited for him. Classy spoke, and I mean, I don't dislike anyone. I like everyone. I should put it that way. I like everyone I come in contact with, and I got to meet Classy the other day, and you got to meet him as well that night. I really like Classy, man. He's classy. And he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He had a good speech, getting everybody fired up. Got to make sure those big time donors are all schmoozed and ready to go for the season. And then President Jimenez. I can't never get them in the right order. He went up there. He gave a very energetic speech as well. He was fun. He actually made me laugh.
Yeah.
He was fun. So I thought it was great. And if you guys have never been to the kickoff dinner, one of the things they do is the whole team comes out, and then they just mingle with everyone there. You get to talk to players. And so we got to shake hands with a lot of guys, and great kids. I appreciate them and what they're doing, going out and shaking hands and being intentional about it. And, because not everyone is an extrovert, but they did a good job. They're going to be good representations of Fresno and the Fresno State football program. You could tell that they've been coached up, and I'm excited about that, and I'm proud of them. So it's going to be fun. The other thing that happened there, Caleb, that I didn't put in the outline, but don't let me forget, is the captains were announced there, and the captains are Mikey Keene. I don't think that's a big surprise, but one of the things that stood out to me was Skip said not only he's taken a step further in his leadership, now he's a very vocal leader. Mm-hmm. We talked about that all last year. I'm excited for Mikey and what he's going to do this year, especially as a vocal leader. Mose Vavao, he was a leader last year, or a captain, I should say, and still is, and he is a leader on this team. A good guy. I got to talk to him for a second. Very humble, good kid. Tuasivi Nomura, I think was the kind of, there was one spot open that you didn't really know, because the other three, which the last one is Devo Bridges, those three guys Devo, Mose, and Mikey, you kind of assumed, but Twisivi is the fourth captain. I'm excited about that. We talked about him a lot last year. I think a lot of people were excited for him. He's banged up last year. Now we're going to see him at 100%, Lord willing. And I'm excited for these guys. What are your thoughts on the captains?
Yeah, CV was definitely the biggest surprise. And I think what I'm most curious about is actually seeing him play the linebacker position this year, because last year he was mostly in pass rush situations and sometimes just lining up at end and just bull rushing. So we haven't really got to see him actually play linebacker and maybe drop back in coverage and do all of that. So very intriguing there. But at the dinner, you could see that he has a dynamic personality, and you can see that the defense is like drawn to him, and so it kind of felt like a natural leader. So seemed to make sense there, and with him and Devo, it makes sense to have Devo, a guy that's been in the program for a long time, developed, and has definitely earned that role as captain.
Yeah. Greg, I see you in here. What's going on, Greg? Good to have you here. Caleb, do you remember who got the second loudest applause the whole night? Skip was number one from the players. But number two?
I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe it was Mose, but I don't remember.
I believe it was the tutor.
That's right. Yes. That's right.
You got a shout out at standing ovation, matter of fact, which is a good thing. I have. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was funny. I got a good kick out of that. But the kickoff dinner was great. BDF did a good job. And they had auctions there. And, the whole Fresno State football crew was, well, actually, I don't know if the whole football crew was there. But Paul emceed it. And, gosh, Paul's so good. Paul Leffler's best, man. We were lucky to have him. Okay, let's talk about these quarterbacks that were named starters this past week, and then we'll get into hot takes, and then we'll run through the schedule. So this is going to be longer, guys, so buckle up. But we would love your interactions in here. Okay, the big one, Boise State. Boise State named their starter, Maddox Madsen. He's, I believe he's a redshirt sophomore. He played a little bit last year because when they needed to throw the ball, they needed someone to do it. So Madsen stepped in, has had some reps. He won the starting job last week. A couple of you guys in the chat actually called it. You said that he's going to win the starting job over Malachi Nelson, who is a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school. I believe he was the number 1 quarterback in the country going to USC out of high school. Then he transfers to Boise. Kilb, I thought it was kind of funny when we were talking about, I brought up the Power 4 media reactions. All of a sudden, the predictions for Boise State have the high praise, I should say, for Boise State has subsided, and they're not in Boise State's backyard anymore cheering them on, which I think is silly because Maddox Madsen is still a very good quarterback and very capable of performing at a high level and leading that team, especially when you have a running back that can take a lot of pressure off of you and a defense that's tough. And Kev, I tweeted about it on X. I don't know what you call it anymore, but no, I said, like, look, we say here, stars don't matter. We know that. And all of a sudden, these guys that say stars do matter, they're high recruiting classes. And look, I get it. It's like a puzzle, fitting a puzzle together. 5 stars fitting in here. They're going to be athletes no matter what, good players, but you got to fit them in the right places. Now all of a sudden they agree with me and us that stars don't really matter. I don't know. We did see this coming though. Maddox Madsen as the starter. I think a lot of people wanted to see Malachi Nelson. And it was an interesting storyline throughout the offseason. And I'm not going to lie, I fell into it a couple of times. Like, if this guy pans out, this could be scary. But I think Maddox Madsen brings something to the table that is scarier than Malachi Nelson, and that is actual experience at the Division I level. He has reps. So, what are your reactions to Madsen getting the starting nod?
Yeah, I don't want to pump him up too much, but I do think that Madsen is a good quarterback, and he can throw the ball, and I mean he can move a little bit too. And he did beat out Taylor Green last year, who is now, I don't know if he's been named starter yet for Arkansas, but I mean he ended up at a SEC school, so I think that he is a skilled player, and fits the kind of underappreciated, I guess, mentality and kind of grit of a lot of Boise State quarterbacks for what they had. So he kind of fits their identity a little bit more than a highly touted 5-star. So I'm not surprised at all. You kind of have to think, I mean, going from number 1 overall to G5, there had to be something in there that obviously USC didn't want to try to fix or put up with. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. But we also come back to depth and talk about the portal and, dealing with the position groups. It's still going to be important for Boise State to have depth at quarterback because Madsen got hurt last year. I think he had back surgery, which that's tough to come back from. So I think for their sake, they're probably hoping that Nelson's capable backup and maybe pushes Madsen to be better.
And I think it's a testament to coaching as well and the playbook. You come in from somewhere else, you have to learn the playbook. It's a whole new language you're learning. It's a little easier, but it's like probably Portuguese to Spanish, but you still have to learn. Whereas Madsen, he knows Cutter, he knows the head coach. I forget the head coach's name. I don't have enough time to care about Boise State coaches' names, but
Danielson.
I know Cutter, he's been there forever. Sorry, what was that?
Danielson.
Spencer
Danielson.
Okay. Danielson. I'll forget it by the end of this episode. But I think it says something as well. Like we don't want to forget that with a new quarterback coming in, there's a learning curve that they're going to have to go through. And if you don't have a quarterback guru like Coach Tedford, it's going to be hard to figure it out. Not saying that that's what happened. I don't know what happened, but I don't want anyone to forget that. Okay, moving on. Nevada named their starter, and that is Brendan Lewis. He was originally not, I think their original starter is injured. So Brendan Lewis now gets the nod. I'm not really high on Nevada at all this year, but I will tell you, Caleb, and I don't know if you've played it or not, but the new college football game, they are really good and impossible to beat. They run this, and Brendan Lewis is insane in the game. He torches me. I hate it. Chuba Purdy, that's it. Chuba Purdy, Brock Purdy's younger brother, is at Nevada. But Brendan Lewis gets the nod in Nevada. I don't think I can't lie. I don't know enough about Brendan Lewis to talk about him, and I'm not high on Nevada. So I've seen Purdy play. I watched him play last year. He was okay. But Brendan Lewis, I don't know. Thoughts, Caleb?
I don't think it's really going to make a difference. They're rebuilding again, I think after rebuilding for the last 2 years. So tough time to be Nevada. But I mean, they spend, I think I read, the least on football out of the entire Mountain West. That probably doesn't count for Air Force. But I mean, it's a tough job. And I think it's going to be a tough year for the Wolfpack. And hopefully this guy can keep them competitive. But I don't think it'll really make a difference for Fresno State.
Yeah. Reno can thank Jay Norvell for all of their struggles. Last but not least, San Diego State named their starter, true freshman, Danny O'Neill. Sean Lewis, I believe, is the coach there. Sean Lewis was offensive coordinator at Colorado for a time. Danny O'Neill, true freshman, new quarterback coming in. Who was the other? We have AJ Duffy, who was a transfer from Florida State. And then you had Kyle Crum. That's right. And Kyle Crum, you all may have heard that name before. He's been there a couple of years now. So he beats out those two guys as a true freshman. So I'm curious because Lewis plays a style of football, kind of slinging the ball around. It's going to be a totally different San Diego State team from what I can imagine. Now, do they have the pieces there to do that? I doubt it. But I think it's going to be fun to watch a true freshman at San Diego State interact with a new head coach, play a new style of football, because Caleb, you have said over the past 3-4 years that if San Diego State finds a competent quarterback, they could be deadly. Now, I think we were saying that within the realm of their certain play style at that time, so things could be changing now. But at the same time, we may find a competent quarterback at San Diego State in a couple of years. Shoot, maybe this year. I don't know. He's a true freshman. I didn't watch him play high school ball. So thoughts on San Diego State starting the true freshman?
I think it makes a ton of sense for a new coach to bring in or to have a new quarterback and say, look, I'm investing in you and you're my guy. Let's go win some conference championships. So I think it makes a ton of sense. And especially as growing pains are expected, if you're doing that with a brand new quarterback, not that the coach is looking to blame the player, but it's kind of a good time to have a new quarterback in there running the system and learning lessons, probably the hard way. I think it makes a ton of sense for a new head coach for San Diego State.
I agree. Dude, just while we're talking about quarterbacks, that were named starters. The Mountain West is full of very good quarterbacks this year. With Pac-12 last year was really good. I'm not saying the Mountain West quarterbacks are that good. Round one NFL draft takes, but you have Mikey Keene, Braden Fowler Nicolosi at Colorado State. You have Spencer Petras, which some people may not think he's very good because he was at Iowa, but no one on the Iowa offense was thought of as good. So maybe he gets, there's a name there at least. You have Matthew Sluka at UNLV. There's some pretty good quarterbacks here in the Mountain West, and I'm excited to watch them play. Svoboda, I got to take some time saying his name. But at Wyoming, he returns. Shoot, he beat us, I believe, or put up a good, yeah. And so there's some good quarterbacks in the Mountain West. And as a former quarterback myself, I appreciate good quarterback play. I think we all do. Quarterback is probably the most exciting position to watch, unless you have like a Malik Sherrod, which, speaking of Malik Sherrod, Caleb, I want to get to some hot takes.
Okay.
But let's get to the red wave real quick in the chat. Spencer talking about P4 Media. It's like they don't know ball. I can't in good conscience believe them when they say, like, I watch more football than all of you. I watch the most G5 football. No, I've tried to watch the most football. You cannot watch all the best schools, keep up with all the storylines that are going on and the players there, and keep up with G5. It's impossible. You can't. You can keep up with one good G5 team. That's it. There's about enough room for one good G5 team. Just ask the playoff committee. And so they do not watch more G5 football than we do. You and me. No way. So anyways, I agree with you, Spencer. Andrew, a lot of it comes down to development and coaching. We've had a lot of guys come down to Fresno from Power 5 over the years. I'm sure they thought they'd walk into the starting job, and a lot of them didn't. Are they good? Yes. Andrew Wren says they find themselves on the outside looking in. You still have to work for it. Then JT asks, will Fresno State score over 13.5 against Michigan? Early prediction here, Caleb. What do you think?
I think we can score 2 touchdowns. I think their defense is not going to be perfect. We're going to have to get an explosive broken play, and probably Malik or whoever's going to be returning give us a good return and put us in favorable position. So I think 2 touchdowns is doable for sure.
Give me the over. I'm always taking the over. Unless it's the NFL. Then I'm taking the under. College football, over. Fresno State, over. I agree. Run to the outside because their D-line scares me. But we'll talk about all of this next week. We'll talk about the Michigan stuff. But, yeah, I'm taking the over 13.5. Give me 14 points. Easy. Okay, Caleb, we're going to move into our hot takes. You know, this is one of the exciting times of the year, Caleb, where we get to play Prophet. We try not to play Prophet too often. Just kidding. We play Prophet like every week. But we have a good time. So let's start with our hot takes. These have to be like really hard to attain. We're not going to do like I would say a hot take, Fresno State going 13-0. That would count as a hot take. Going 16-0. That would be a hot take. 17-0, maybe. But Caleb, why don't you I'll start so that you can end on yours. Okay. We each have 2. So I'm going to start with Malik Sherrod leading the country in all-purpose yards. I think he can do that. Easily. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen because they want to keep him safe. But if they put him back there to return kicks and punt returns, and he can catch the ball in the backfield and he's getting he's getting the ball handed to him, I think he could do this. Lead the country in all-purpose yards.
I think that if he is returning kicks, that's definitely in the realm of possibility, because if he's able to stay healthy, I mean, towards the end of the season, I mean, he was averaging at least 100 yards on the ground. So you got to think he can probably be around, he's probably going to have to be 1,500 to 2,000 all-purpose, I would think, to be close to that. But I think it's doable if he's healthy every game. I agree.
All right, what's your first one?
All right, we're going defense. Cam Braca is going to lead the team in interceptions. I think it would be surprising for some people, especially with how highly we think of guys like Cam Lockridge and Alzalian Hamilton on the outside. But I think Braca is going to be a difference maker. He really just jumped on the scene last year for this team. It was a difference maker. I think, another year with Coach Coyle, who is helping him, just become, another quarterback of the defense and learning the safety position. I think he's going to be in the right place at the right time and be able to bring down a lot of interceptions.
Also, Pat McCann said what he's looking forward to this season is when he can stop practicing against Cam Braca. Some praise there for Braca. So I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him play. I saw his family was there at the kickoff dinner. Saw them there and Cam walking around. Like, the dude just looks scary. Like, I do not want to get hit by him. So I'd much rather my quarterback throw an interception than throw me across the middle with Cam Braca looking at me, running full speed at me. So I like that. That would be fun. My second one and last one is that the Mountain West will represent the 5th conference champion in the college football playoff. A lot of talk about Liberty, a lot of talk about Memphis. So a Conference USA team and an American Athletic Conference. No. Mountain West. I mean, most likely Fresno State, of course. But I'm leaving it open to help me out here. Mountain West will represent that 5th conference champion spot in the college football playoff.
There's a good chance of that. I mean, I think that team is going to have to be at least 12-1, if not 13-0 in conference champ, just to be competitive with the other G5 schools. I mean, Liberty could run the table just with how easy their schedule is. So, but I would love to see it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, do you take an undefeated or 1-loss Liberty over a 3-loss Mountain West champ? Like, if the 3 losses to that Fresno State, they end up winning, but the 3 losses are Michigan. Let's just for some reason UCLA plays out of their mind and has a great season, and we lose to them, and then a top Mountain West school like a UNLV or Colorado State, 3 losses, do we get in over a 1-loss Liberty?
No chance. I think it's going to be pretty black and white wins losses at that point. So no, I think Fresno State needs to be undefeated in conference play and win the conference championship to be able to be considered. I think that the week 1 loss to Michigan, it is overcomable. And especially because it's so long ago. I mean, no one's even going to remember it. Plus, if they put up a decent fight, I think that could work in Fresno State's favor too.
That's true. Very true. Yeah, I think whoever it is, whatever school it is, they're going to have to go undefeated in conference to get in. People can look past strong losses to strong non-conference teams. So, okay, what's yours? Last one.
All right. Last hot take. Special teams. Our starting punter has not been announced yet. However, I'm under the assumption it's going to be the Australian Clay Lawrence. And I think he is going to be a weapon for us. I think he's going to average at least 55 yards a kick.
Ooh.
And just punting will start to be a weapon, especially with Skipper, defensive minded, maybe caring more about field position. I don't know. We haven't really seen him coach a full season, so we don't know what his mindset is going to be towards, going for it, short yardage. But I think that having the Australian, who's, a little bit older, more developed, big leg and weapon for Fresno State.
I get behind that. I will say the one thing that surprised me at the dinner, Caleb, was that we were as big or bigger than a lot of the players there at height-wise. Muscle, no shot. I have no muscle, only fat. But height-wise, we were bigger than a lot, and a couple kickers walked up to us. Caleb, I was like, oh my word. They were very tiny. Not like Caleb Pletz here. What are you, 6'3"?
Yeah, I mean 6'3", 220. So, but
yeah, I mean
mostly
you're not small, dude.
Yeah,
and I'm pushing 6'2", maybe. So I'm like 6'2", 180. So for everyone that, if you really want to picture, you don't get to see below our shoulders. But as you can tell, my shoulders are sagging and not broad. So little worrisome there, but they're kickers. And their legs, I will tell you, were as big as my head. That's what we care about. All right. I think those are good hot takes. I can live with those. I don't think anyone took the easy road out. Caleb, let's get to the big stuff here. I'm going to pull up let's get to let's get to the red wave first. Sam Droid, I predict we will have to listen to the same crap music during timeouts. Towards the end of the season last year, if you were not there, I think this is what Sam is talking about. They started playing music over the speakers in between every play on every timeout, and it would about burst your eardrums. It was awful. The timeout music was the worst. It was supposed to get everybody fired up. You want to know what gets me fired up? Is when the band plays. And so that's why I appreciated Classy coming into the band and saying, if it's up to me, you get every timeout. I don't know if you guys watched that video, but Classy and Skip went in and talked to the band, which I love. And Classy, which I didn't know, was a French horn guy. So we're going to have to get him. We might have to do a solo on here. Classy gets some time to himself to play the French horn on Beware Bulldogs. But anyways, he said band gets it every time out if it's up to me. I hope it is up to him because I'm with you. Sam, I can't take the music and the Lady Gaga and Katy Perry and T Swift between every single play. I'm not about that. I'm not. Caleb, thoughts on the music?
I agree. Frustrating. But then I don't even know who's in control of that. If that's, someone who's our dad's age or if that's an intern. So whoever it is, I don't even know who's the right person for the job. But maybe we crowdsource it and just get the best, I guess, timeout songs from the crowd. Maybe that's the best way to go.
Yeah, as long as these students don't pick their awful music, or we have 17-year-old girls, they're going to outvote us, Caleb. I'm just warning you. Spencer, my take is that we are the G5 representatives over Memphis. I like Memphis this year. I like Hennigan. He's going to be pretty good. But I think like I said, if the Mountain West runs the table, we play tough enough schedules, and we have a pretty good conference this year that we'll get in. So I agree, Spencer. Kevin, I see a 30-20 Michigan win, but you never know. We could do it. Michigan's going to be tough, man. It's we'll see how it goes. We got our preview coming up. Well, actually, we're going to run through the schedule right now, so you're going to kind of know where we're leaning. Spencer, I think that Fresno State would just have to look competent versus Michigan in order to get in. I was sitting down with Caleb. I'm going to throw Caleb under the bus here. Caleb Putz. We were kind of talking about what's going to be okay. What are you going to be okay with? And Caleb said, and I hope I'm quoting you correctly, Caleb, if we lose 28-7 or 28-14, I think we both want more than one touchdown. I think you said 28-14. I'm going to be okay with that. It's a close game. We scored the ball on a tough defense, and the rest of the world is going to look at that and think, hey, Fresno State put up a game. Later in the season, they're going to see that. Is that what did I quote you correctly on that?
Definitely. Yeah. I'd say that's how I would feel. I mean, I'd love to get a win, but if we can keep it to 2 scores, I think that's a emotional win.
Matt, Fresno State, best attendance in California and leads G5 schools. I think that's very doable. Thomas, what's going on, Thomas? One thing that makes college football better than the NFL is the band. I agree. That is college football. Mm-hmm. Sending my TCU energy to the Dogs for Michigan game. Thank you. We can use all of the energy we can get. Just keep it to 2 scores. I said the same thing when my Frogs played Georgia. Ha ha. Ouch. Yes. Praying it doesn't go that way, but yes. Okay, Caleb, let's get to the schedule. We're going to run through each and every game, have our predictions ready to go. This is where we lose listeners, Caleb. When we don't pick 12-0, just let you know, we're going 12-0, but I have to set aside my biases for this.
Yep.
Week 1, at Michigan, at the Big House. Neither of us will be there, unfortunately, as we both have babies here and on the way. They will be here. So we will not be in Michigan. Caleb, how is this game playing out?
It's going to be a tough loss for the Bulldogs. Tough spot for Coach Skipper to open the season at the defending champion. But, I mean, Michigan is also a pretty much brand new team from the team that won the national championship last year, including most of the coaching staff. So pretty much the best shot Fresno State has at Michigan, I would say, is week 1 with all these new players. And, they're looking for their identity too. So, but it's a historic venue. Michigan's a really strong team, and their defense is going to be nasty. So I think it's going to be really tough for the Fresno State offense. So hopefully it's a 2-score game, but I don't know. I'm just glad that we're going to be on the national stage, and hopefully we can make the best of it. But I do have it as a loss.
I do as well. I have a very close loss. I'm thinking like 6 points. Week 1. The defenses always show out in week 1. Mm-hmm. Offenses are still figuring it out. Defense is more along the lines of go get the ball, rush the quarterback. If you can't figure out your coverages and your defense isn't smart enough to play the right coverage and communicate, okay, it's going to be tough. But this is going to be a battle of the trenches. Our D-line is very good. Their D-line is very good. We're going to see whose O-line can hold up the longest. I think a couple turnovers hurts us, and we lose by about 6. I would say it's a 1-score game. It's a perfect storm for Fresno State. Harbaugh's gone. New coach, kind of. He's technically already coached there. But a lot of distractions going on. He won't be there now as the honorary captain. And who knows if Moore is actually coaching? He may get suspended for that game. Who knows? We're getting closer and closer. It's not looking like it's going to happen, but you never know. So this is kind of the perfect storm for Fresno State, and I think it's very close. So both have a loss at Michigan. Then September 7th, our first home game, we get Sacramento State. For the people that don't know, Sacramento State is ranked in the top 25 right now in the FCS. I believe top 15 in the FCS. This is a very good Sac State team. Where are you going with this, Caleb? Because last year was close with Eastern Washington.
Yeah, I don't think this is one Fresno State can overlook. We're going to have a good idea of their competition level because they open against San Jose State. So good kind of apples to apples competition there for Fresno State fans. The Dogs should be able to pull this out. I know that we've lost to an FCS at home, but I can't remember how long ago it's been. Don't care to look it up. I think that it'll be a tough game, but home opener, I think it's going to be pretty good energy there. We mentioned the past couple weeks, ticket sales are going really strong, trending in the right direction. So I think that this team should be ready. I mean, bearing some catastrophic injuries in week one, I think this should be a comfortable victory for Fresno State.
I agree. I think we win by 21, 3 scores. And we should. Our offense is going to be tough to stop. And our defense is being overlooked by a lot of the media and fans. We have a very good defense. So I think this is a win. Okay, we are both at 1-1 right now, going into week 3, September 14th. We get New Mexico State in Fresno. We beat up on them last year in the bowl game. They lose their starting quarterback, their head coach. What do you think is going to happen here in Fresno on September 14th?
I think this is a big victory for Fresno State. I think they hired the guy, I can't remember his name, but former UNLV coach, if I'm not mistaken, or I don't know, former New Mexico coach maybe. And he just was a hot mess when he was coaching the Mountain West. And I don't think there's any way they can rebuild the magic that they had last year with Jerry Kill and their quarterback, who I think went SEC, like maybe Vandy or something. I can't remember. But there's no way Fresno State loses this game. I'm probably going to regret saying that, but this should be an easy victory for Fresno State.
I agree. I do not want them to overlook New Mexico State. I don't want them to overlook anyone, but this could be a quiet trap game, maybe. But I think that the skill level is just such a big difference here. We should overpower them, and Fresno State off to a 2-1 start. Week 4. I'm saying week 4. I should say game 4. Game 4, 20, because after the buys, it's going to get confusing. Game 4, September 21st. We go to New Mexico, going to Albuquerque. We play New Mexico. I've heard some people say, Caleb, that New Mexico is underrated this year. They like them. And by the way, we cannot overlook them because they ruined our season. I don't know if they ruined our season, but they really hurt my feelings last year. It was awful. I don't think that happens this year. Our boys remember that. They want to beat them at home. We're going to crush them. We're going to crush New Mexico.
I think that it's going to be a tough game, and I think a lot of people respect their new head coach, Bronco Mendenhall. Had good stops at BYU and Virginia, so I think he's competent and he'll get their ship righted. But year one, it's going to be tough to rebuild. They do have a pretty tough schedule before us, so they open against Montana State and then they go to Arizona, to Auburn, and then host Fresno State. So Montana State, they could, I don't know how competitive they are, but usually they're a tougher FCS team. So, I mean, there's a chance they're 0-3 when Fresno State comes to town. So could be a little banged up. So we'll see. I think that Fresno State wins this game just because it's kind of a tough road before Fresno State gets there. So I think that kind of works in the Dogs' favor.
What's the spread on the Montana State New Mexico game?
Montana State's favored by 10.5. So
10.5. Is it an upset? FCS over FBS? I don't know. I always think it's an upset when FCS beats FBS, but Vegas doesn't think so. Not going to win any money, or not a lot. Okay, game 5. We both have them at 3-1 right now. Caleb, going into game 5. No buys in there. This September 28th. We're going to Vegas at UNLV. UNLV is coming off a bye. UNLV's pretty good. I think they're probably the most overrated team. But week 5, technically week 6, if you count week 0, Caleb, I think we might slip up here. I'm going to go a loss to UNLV.
Oh, no. I certainly hope not. I am planning on being at this game. My brother lives in Las Vegas, so we are planning on being there. Big family trip. So I got it written in pen as a win. I don't feel super confident, but just because there's a lot of hype around UNLV, but they do have a new quarterback. So there's a lot of question marks that go into that. Their wide receiver coming back, and Ricky White, I think is his name. I mean, he's a stud. So we're going to have our hands full with him, but I think that Fresno State is better than a slightly overrated UNLV. So give me a W. Helps that it's indoors. We don't have to worry about the weather or anything. But back-to-back home or away games is tricky too.
All right, Caleb Putz has them at 4-1. I have them at 3-2. Heading into our bye week, October 5th. Checking the chat, Caleb. I'm getting booed in the chat. Thomas says, $1 million paycheck to the Dogs too. Yes, we are getting $1 million paycheck from Michigan. Andrew says maybe we win a rock fight, late score at the end to win an ugly game, 16-13 or something like that. That's what I was thinking. Andrew, I'm thinking like it's a 16-14 game. We go down, kick a field goal, win 17-16. I love that. And definitely the most overrated, Andrew says, is UNLV squad. Even as banged up as we were last year, we still beat them. Yes. I don't. Tons of talk about Sluka. I got to see him play. I just picked Fresno State to lose, but being honest with everybody, like we trip up somewhere in between. And I am not picking us to trip up against Nevada, San Jose, or Hawaii. So this is our trip, slip, and fall game. So then we have a bye week. Okay, we're going to recover October 5th. October 12th, we come back and we get Washington State at home. And Washington State is coming off a bye week. So are we. Both teams coming off a bye week. I think we win this game, Caleb. There's no reason we shouldn't win this game. I mean, we're the better team. We have the better players. We have the better coaches. And as I look down the schedule, there's really only one team on the schedule that I would say has players that are upper echelon, and that's Michigan. So I'm giving away a lot, but I think we beat Washington State.
I do too. We handled them 2 years ago in the bowl game. I mean, granted, it was a bowl game, and a couple coaching staffs ago for I don't know if Washington State even has the same coaches, but I mean, this whole season, I'm just questioning whether Washington State and Oregon State too are like, how motivated are they? I mean, obviously the players want to do well and get to the next level, but when you're in a conference of two and you're kind of the outcast, the rest of our conference didn't want us, and now we're stuck, in quotes, playing Mountain West schedule. I question how motivated that team's going to be. So home game for Fresno State, I think that's a victory. We should be able to take care of them.
Mm-hmm. October 19th, we go to Reno. We're playing the Wolfpack. There's no reason we should lose this game. I think we handle Nevada. I mean, unless there's snow, I guess. I don't know. In Reno.
That is a Friday game, so a short week on the road. Does that play a factor for you?
No, our boys will be ready. We got the nutrition level will be wonderful. We just came off a high beating Washington State. We don't want to ruin that. And then on my schedule, we lost UNLV. We're turning it around. So I think we beat Nevada by 3 scores.
Yeah, this should be a win. We'll probably mess around and keep it a little too close, but I think a first-year coach rebuilding a program, Skipper's going to have the guys ready, even if it's on short rest. I mean, we hopefully will be running the ball competently at that point, and that can be just a Malik Sherrod dominant game. That's what I'd be hoping for.
So you currently have them 6-1. We're going to a bowl game. We got it locked in. I have them 5-2 right now. Next game, October 26th, San Jose State comes to town. And I'm going to lump these two together, Caleb. October 26th, San Jose State. November 2nd, Hawaii, both at home. I think we win both of those games. I think the Hawaii game is a little closer just with their quarterback, Shager, which that's a quarterback I didn't mention. Shager's a good quarterback. They have some weapons there. And with Chain coaching, of course, they're going to be good offensively. So, but I do think that our defensive line is going to be too much of a problem for them. And we beat Hawaii, and then San Jose State. I do think is going to struggle this year. New coach, a lot of new play. I mean, Nash is coming back, but other than that, I mean, their best players are coming to Fresno. So through the transfer portal. So I mean, I think we handle both of them.
I agree. I don't see any reason why the Dogs should lose these, just for all the reasons you mentioned. So I also have a win and a win.
Okay, November 9th at Air Force. Going to Colorado Springs, Caleb. That's all. That's, I've heard it's beautiful there. I've always wanted to go attend a football game there. However, not in November, but this could be a tough one. Both teams could be banged up. Air Force doesn't return a lot of production, though, so we're going to know a lot more about them by the time we go to Colorado Springs. What are your thoughts on this game?
I have this as the soul-crushing loss of the season to Air Force. They are the ultimate next man up, I think, being a service academy, so that's just ingrained in them. I think that they have a really good head coach, so just a lot of stability in the program. It's going to be a tough place to play. I think they have a new stadium or a newly renovated stadium. I remember Loeffler mentioning it during baseball season. So I think it's going to be really tough. Probably snow on the ground. Like you mentioned, there's just going to be one of these trip-up games, and I think that Air Force is going to be that game for the Dogs. So I hate to say it, but I do have a loss here in game 10.
Okay. I think our D-line and our linebackers are very good this year and will be able to stop the running attack. If it's in the snow or not, I think we are that tough, along with Dean Clark. I think Dean Clark and Cam Braca, specifically Dean Clark, we haven't talked a whole lot about this offseason. Yeah. Dean Clark is going to be he's going to be playing a key role this year, and I think he's going to do a good job at it. So I think we do beat Air Force. Jumping to the red wave really quick before we get to the last 3 weeks, 2 games for Fresno State. Thomas says, rip the Pac-12. I will miss you. I agree. They're now called Tupac. Spencer, my best friend, is coming into town for a Washington State game, so Fresno should win. Perfect. We'll take more fans we can get. Thomas, San Jose State game shootout years ago still haunts me. Thanks for bringing that up, Thomas. Appreciate that. L against Air Force, in my opinion, from Thomas. And Kevin says, I'd be amazed if we beat both Air Force and UNLV. Well, Caleb, I have a loss against UNLV. You have a loss against Air Force. So neither of us have them beating both Air Force and UNLV. That would be impressive. Tim, you need to drop and give us 20 for being tardy. What's going on, Tim? Good to see you. He apologized, though. Sorry for my tardiness. All right, going into our last 2 games, Caleb. We are both sitting at 2 losses going into the last 2 games. And those last 2 games are Colorado State at home and then we go to the Rose Bowl and play UCLA. Let's do this one at a time, though. Colorado State at home. How are you feeling about that?
I think after a bye week, after Air Force, the team should be about as fresh as they can be. And there's potentially a lot riding on this game. I think we both expect Colorado State to be a lot more competitive than they've been the last couple of years. And I mean, this probably will have title game implications. So I have this as a win for Fresno State. I think playing at home late in the year is, definitely an asset. And I don't know if Colorado State's all the way there yet. But I think it should be a great game. As it looks right now, you and I are both invited to a wedding that day. So I don't think either of us will be there, which is a little bit irritating, but that is just how it goes with fall weddings.
The same wedding, by the way. We will be at the same wedding.
Yes, the same
in
wedding.
the back. We'll be in the back, though, so everyone knows, in the back, playing with the kids, and we will have – I got YouTube TV, Caleb, so recording all Fresno State football games. We will be watching it. Don't worry, everyone. My kid will get neglected that night. Sorry. I will not be playing with him. No. I think this is a tough game. And I still don't know who I'm going to pick, Caleb. Okay, so initially coming into this, I had a loss. I'm going to be honest. I had a loss to Colorado State. But as I think about it and how it's playing out, coming off a bye week, in my world, we just beat Air Force. We're on a high. Gosh, it would be – I think it would be much easier for us to beat Colorado State at home than it would if we weren't coming off a bye and away. So, for the heck of it, I'm going to leave it as a loss. I'm going to leave it there. I think the air attack at Colorado State is a little scary to me. Now, we talked to Cam Lockridge at the BDF at the kickoff dinner. I can tell you Cam Lockridge is all over it. He already knows the Michigan wide receivers' girlfriends. He already knows them. He's already talking smack. He's in their head already. And you don't think he's going to be in Terry Horton's head? Oh, my goodness. That's going to be a matchup I can't wait to watch. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of a coin flip for me. But, screw it. Switch it. I'm switching it. Let's win. Cam Lockridge shuts down Terry Horton. He announces to the world, I'm NFL Cam, as his ex name is. I'm NFL Cam. I'm here. None of you were talking about me. You didn't start giving me a good rating in NCAA Football 25. It's like third string in there. And I'm here. I locked down Terry Horton. Welcome back to the Valley. So win. I'm changing it, Caleb. Win.
Love it.
Okay, then we go to the Rose Bowl. Last game, November 30th, against UCLA. UCLA is going to be banged up. They lose Chip Kelly. Granted, he wasn't very good there. We beat him there multiple times. UCLA is going to get hammered in the Big Ten. They're going to get destroyed. And then we're going to, what are they going to be playing for? Not a lot. Their pride, I guess, to prove to NFL scouts, shoot, some of them may not play. Now, on the other side of the conversation is if we have a really good season, right? This is a non-conference game for us. If we have the Mountain West Championship in the bag, I wouldn't want to play in that game if I'm Mikey Keene or Malik Sherrod, unless Malik Sherrod is going to go for the record books for all-purpose yards, which he's going to get this year. But, is there going to be a reason for our boys to play in this game? It was very odd to have a non-conference game as the last game. I think we win no matter what. I think we win with our backups in or our starters in. I think we win. And I agree. I do think our starters will get reps in this game. But go ahead.
Yeah, this is a win. UCLA has a chance to be 2-9 or 1-10 going into this game. And I have a hard time seeing them being motivated to take on a perceived lower G5 team who Fresno State's had their number for the last 4 matchups. So maybe that fires them up. I doubt it. I think that this is a game where there's probably more Red Wave in the stands than Bruin fans, like there were the last couple times. Unfortunately, I will not be at this game. I had been at the previous 4 victories over UCLA, but not this one. So I know, I know. So little disappointed in there, but that's okay. We have TV, so we can watch it. But I do have this as a victory. No way UCLA shows up this game.
Yeah, I agree. That puts both of us at 10-2 on the season. And I think one loss in the Mountain West gets us to the Mountain West Championship game. Do we host that? Who knows? But that easily gets us to the Mountain West Championship game. Let's check out what the Red Wave is saying. Spencer, we beat UCLA. I think they're projected to be one of the worst Big Ten schools. We should win. I agree. There's no reason we should lose to UCLA unless we, our redshirt guys haven't played a whole lot. They still have some games left, and we play all of them. Valley Dogs, what's going on? Good to see you here. Andrew Wren, there isn't a single UCLA student who was alive the last time Fresno lost to the Bruins. Fresno by 3 scores. Kevin, hot take. But in parentheses says maybe not a hot take after all. But we will have more fans in the Rose Bowl than UCLA. I'll take that anytime. Oh, yeah. Championship game, Fresno State 34, Boise State 0. Goose egg. That would be amazing. Sign me up for that. I'm going to run over to X really quick because I did put it out there for social media to get in their hot takes. So if it loads, I'm going to have to turn on my Wi-Fi, everyone. So bear with us. It might get kicked off. All I needed is to load, and then I'll turn it off. G5 Wi-Fi. Okay, right. Both of us have 10-2. Mountain West champs, Caleb. Are we Mountain West champs?
If we can get to the game, yes. I think it's a disadvantage losing a conference game this year. And we're only playing 7 because the Washington State game counts as a non-conference. So playing 5 non-cons, being 6-1, there could be 4 teams that are 6-1. Then there's all these, head-to-head matchup percentages stuff that we have to be on the right side of, which is tough. So I think if we're undefeated in conference play, then yes, I think we win it. Obviously, that's an easy answer to say that. But I think, only having 7 conference games is going to be a challenge at the end of this year when there's, all these tiebreaker scenarios. Actually, more likely probably there's a 1 seed that's undefeated and then a bunch of like 5 and 2s. That might be even more likely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. People can call us homers. I don't care. This is what we do. We talk Fresno State and we're fans. Yes, of course we're Mountain West champs. I think we have the most experienced quarterback. We have now we are going to have to improve our play at the O-line position, but we have, I would say, the best top to bottom skill position players. And I would say we have the best D-line. I think we have the best 2 corners. And I think our linebacker room is deeper than everyone else's. And then safeties, it is a question mark, but we know for the most part who's going to be back there. And it depends. Dean's going to be back there. Then who do they put next to him and who do they move to nickel? I saw Justin Houston making plays in practice. So is he playing nickel? Where do they have him? Do they move him to safety? Braca, where's he at? Kosi. There's a lot of questions in that room, but they're very good players. They're all experienced. I mean, on paper, this team is the best in the Mountain West, and there's no reason we shouldn't win the Mountain West championship. Okay. On X, others receiving votes says here's all you guys' hot takes. The best former 5-star transfer from USC chose Fresno State. Cam says Jalen Moss will win the Biletnikoff Award.
That'd be huge.
That would be massive. I think he can. Rudy says Boise State and Fresno State will face off in the Mountain West Championship in Fresno. Valley of the Dogs. Fresno State secures the playoff spot. Ooh, ranks top 10 by the end of the year. Oh, my word. And secures an invite to a new conference.
Whoa.
That is quite the season. Drip dropping. ESPN College Game Day will have an episode on campus this year, and Lee Corso will put on the timeout head. These are pretty good, Caleb. These are hot.
You know, I mean, the second to last week of the season, if it's undefeated, in conference play, Fresno State, undefeated in conference play, Colorado State, that's a very real possibility.
If they're both undefeated, that means we have a win over Michigan and they have a win over Texas. College Game Day will be in Fresno.
No, just in conference play.
No, I know.
Yeah, but true. Yes, you're right.
You think even in conference play, though, they would be inclined to show up?
Possibly. I'd have to look and see what's on the schedule for that week if it's a weaker schedule. But yeah, I think there's a chance.
I like it. I'm all in drip dropping. Ant at home says 1-0 to start the year. Mr. Matt Beltran, he says prediction pain, as in for the other teams, not us. Pain for the other teams. Chuck B. After August 31st, everybody will know him just as Mikey. Getting the first name treatment. And Larry Alvarez, I got three more. Larry Alvarez, near upset at Michigan. Mikey Keene gets Heisman votes. Dogs undefeated in Mountain West Conference, and we win our bowl game. Larry, is that a hot take? I don't know. I like it, though. Matt, we will beat Michigan, but lose to Hawaii.
That would be the full experience of being a Bulldog fan.
Yes. Robert Polvido, Fresno State will be the first team from California to make the college football playoff. Oh, I like that. Means USC didn't have a very good year in the Big Ten. They didn't have fun. All right. Well, thank you guys for participating. You can follow us on X, beware_Bulldogs, or as we're live on my X right now, Caleb_Nail, Nale. And then you can follow Caleb Pletz, CMP Go Dogs on X as well. We are going to be throwing Fresno State coverage your way throughout the year, reactions and all. I mean, this is your guys' show. This is the fan show. So we're ready to have a good time. So we got college football. Next time we talk, Caleb, we will have watched college football games. My prediction for week 0 is Georgia Tech beats Florida State, by the way. So in Dublin, Ireland. I think that happened. Starting off hot, man. So we got to do it. And also, it doesn't go well for New Mexico. That's the other one. So there's 3 Mountain West games, week 0, by the way. Nevada, SMU, New Mexico, Montana State, Hawaii, Delaware State. Hawaii is a 31-point favorite over Delaware State. I do think they win that game. Nevada, I think it loses to SMU. And then New Mexico probably loses to Montana State as well.
I ain't got to agree with that.
One. Okay. All right, man. Well, other than that, I think that's it. Is there anything else we need to cover?
We did it. We made it through basketball and baseball in summer. We love basketball and baseball, but there's nothing like college football in the fall. So thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. And hopefully everyone's kind of coming back if they've taken some time off. And now they're getting back into it for football season. Welcome back, and very excited to do it. And was this like year 5 or 6? I don't know that we've been doing football now. I think it's year 5.
Started in 19.
Yeah. So year 5. How about that?
Wow. Went fast, man. All right. Dow, you made it just in time. We're taking off. But it's good to talk with you guys. Thanks for joining us. College football is back. For the rest of this week, though, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you guys. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Woo, woo, woo.